But only the HSTS.
Biden's going to get the girls pumped.
Only the HSTS.
Pump Biden 2026.
24.
I don't know what year it is.
Okay. 26 is a midterm election, so. What?
Very bisexual of you not to know the year.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here. I'm just...
So, speaking of not knowing why you're here, Nicole, what is the number one thing that is holding back the transsexual community or transgender community internally and externally?
Internally and externally. I think if I was just going to go off the top of my head for things I've recently been thinking about, I do think that like we have been forced, and I think that's a lot of people from my generation actually, so like this doesn't just, I guess, pertain to the trans community. I think that we like live overly online currently, and we get very caught up in very meaningless ideological battles with each other within spaces that are like very confined to like, you know, the internet, that like don't really affect the real world and don't really matter. And we just kind of like end up in like kind of continuous cycles of just like, you know, feeding ourselves content for like whatever our chosen political ideology is, and like don't actually kind of, you know, find empowerment for the trans community as a whole or for ourselves like individually. And I've just noticed a lot of girls will get very sidetracked in like how easy it is to like live the doll lifestyle online and like trying to chase that whole aesthetic.
So you're saying that we need to touch grass more?
No, definitely. The trans girls need to touch grass and like
a fucking tree.
Yeah,
But
like,
outside is scary though.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
well,
there's COVID out there.
It's
COVID.
There's less COVID now, and also it's like people have jobs. It's like whatever.
No, I get that because I get that in the sense of a lot of conservatives and people who are anti-trans specifically want us to do that. They want us to sit inside of our houses and disconnect us from public life.
They do want that, and I think that by creating spaces for us that only exist like online and like kind of distracting us with very like ideological battles, it's like we've decided to like take on an existence that is very like very secluded, and I don't want to live a life like that personally. Like I feel like when I was younger I did enjoy that, finding like online trans spaces gave me community when I just basically had no one. But it's like I also will see that there's just like more and more people like around my age that just like don't fucking go outside and like don't have friends IRL.
Yeah.
And like that's not an issue, I guess. But it's like
you just said IRL out loud.
IRL.
Yeah, no, I'm very locked in. Don't worry. It's like I am a part of the issue. I'm a Zoomer. It's.
Are you?
It's
Zoomer?
bad. I'm 23.
I didn't know that.
We are old people.
Oh,
Stacy.
okay. It's really hard to tell ages with trans girls.
Yeah,
it just is.
With these crow's feet and my sagging breasts.
No. I'm saying that like we all look young all the time.
Yeah.
So like
from all the baby blood we.
I thought you were older, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
But basically, yeah, everyone needs to touch grass, and like, you know, getting to pass online isn't the same as getting to like live a normal life out in the world.
But I feel like it's in some ways, in some instances, it's easier to pass online, and in some instances, it's not. Especially if you're like openly trans on the internet, and then like in the real world, people like on the internet, people are gonna watch this and be like, "Well, I can tell each one of them are trans." But like in reality, in like real life, that's not the same as like most of our lived experiences.
And we're like inflicting ourselves with weird like internet brainworms, just like talking about shit that doesn't matter, like AGP and HSTS, like literally stuff like that just like only exists online. And most like average people that like know about trans people probably from like vague conversations with like a taxi driver, like they don't really think about like the deep lore and the fucking meta of trans discourse that only exists like in very insulated online spaces. Like